All right. So thank you all for attending tonight. We really appreciate your support. We have been talking about this, we being Brenda and Heather and I, since we got back from convention, and they have so graciously and actually really excitedly offered to share what they learned when we went to convention. And just to give a little bit of background, I'm Kim Harbage. I know that we've got lots of new people on this team. I am a gold ambassador with Plexus Worldwide. I have been on the Plexus products since June of 2013. I did not actually start selling the products or even sharing the products for a full year after that. I was just interested in it for weight loss. And actually, Brenda is my sister. We started this for the main purpose of losing weight, and we were the guinea pigs. Our mom wanted to take it too, but we weren't going to let her until we figured out that it didn't kill us. So now mom takes it too, and there's many, many health benefits in our household, which is very exciting. And now we know that these products are so much more than just weight loss. So wonderful things for that. And just a bit of my history too. I have been a corporate person for ever since I got out of school, and left my corporate job in October of 2015. And I'm now doing Plexus full-time, although full-time is not full-time. So I don't ever want to scare people into thinking that you have to do this full-time, meaning 40 hours, because it's certainly not that. And I'm going to school to be a health coach, a certified holistic health coach with the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. Everything fits together with the Plexus products, and it really has been a wonderful thing for our family. So with that, I'm going to do a little bit of an interview with these ladies so that they can share with us what they learned at convention. I'm first going to have them introduce themselves, and then I will introduce kind of the people that they heard at convention, because gosh, I was super excited when I heard who they were listening to. They had a powerhouse of diamond ambassadors with Plexus that did their silver breakout session at convention. You really it's hard to put into words what it feels like when you're there. To experience the energy and the excitement, and all of the information is really hard to do justice when you're not actually there. So we're trying to do that here to share with you some of the things that they have learned. So I will have Brenda, she drew the lucky straw. I'm going to have her herself and give a little bit of her background, and then we'll go to Heather.
So like Kim said, I'm Brenda Harbage, and we are sisters. She's my role model and fearless leader in Plexus as well as life, and always has been. So, but yeah, I've been taking the products for as long as Kim has, about 3 years now, which is kind of mind-boggling. But just seeing amazing benefits and great progress with being on the products for that long. In the beginning, I was pretty discouraged because I have been not feeling well and tired and achy and, just like all those things, been sick most of my adult life. And so when I hear some of these fabulous stories of other people and ambassadors and things who take the products and are immediately, 1 month, 2 months later, feeling fabulously better, I got kind of discouraged and said to Kim, how come that's them and that's not me, where I'm not immediately better like everybody else? And she said, well, I've been hearing you have to have at least 3 months consistently on the products, and then about a year or a month for every year that you've been sick. And at the time, it had been about 22 months that I had been taking the products. So I was like, okay, so I'm getting closer. I'm getting more towards where I should be to be at a healthier me. And that's actually been very, very true, and very, it opened my eyes, made me feel a lot better about myself. Just, when you're sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, you want to be better immediately, but then you realize, you've been this way a long time, so it might take a while to get better. And I do feel a tons better. So, and I love being an ambassador. Along with being sick a lot of the time, I lost multiple jobs because of it. And so this has given me the opportunity to be my own boss and be able to work when I can, both physically, emotionally, mentally, all those things. And like Kim said, it's not full-time, even though it is kind of full-time for me, as well as some other things that I have going on. So, but yeah, that's a little bit about me. So.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Heather?
Yeah, my name is Heather Thompson, and I have been with Plexus since August of 2014. So I'm coming up on 2 years here next month. And I started because I actually started to, Jen Hawkins had sent me a sample, and I took it for a week and I actually gained weight. And I said, well, never mind, I'm not interested in doing this. And so for the next couple of years, I tried everything I could to eat really well. I didn't lose weight. And 2013, I trained and ran a half marathon, and I was running 20 miles a week to train. And in that 9 months, I didn't lose any weight. So in 2014, I reached out to her again, said, okay, I think I want to give this a shot again. I was still following her journey and could tell that people were losing weight and getting healthy. And I was feeling really tired and really worn down. So I started the products, and we had a conversation when I started the second time that I really had to be consistent. I had to drink the water. I had to take Plexus every day. And of course, in the beginning, I felt really cruddy again. And in that first month, I lost 14 inches. And by the end of the first month, I felt amazing. And so I signed up to be an ambassador, and I haven't looked back. So my why has changed. I mean, my why at first was to get healthy and to feel better. And then I started to realize that I could make money at this, and it really could change our family and possibly bring freedom. And it's done a lot of that, and it's still a work in progress for me, but that's been my journey so far.
I love that. I don't think I knew your story, so thank you for sharing. At convention, so just for those people who have just recently joined, convention this year was in Las Vegas, and it was a ton of fun. It was at the MGM Grand Hotel, which is the largest hotel in the country, I think.
United States, yeah.
United States.
Mm-hmm.
And there were close to 12,000 ambassadors there. The convention sold out. They do it right. They had lots of fun and entertainment for us, not to mention all of the jam-packed training that you get. There's different breakout sessions for all of the different ranks that are in Plexus. So there's a silver and ambassador breakout, there's a gold and senior gold, ruby and senior ruby, and then there's different breakouts for the jewels. And I think that it was emerald separate from sapphire, separate from diamond. And
right.
Bring in the top people, the diamonds that have gone through the company and have had amazing success, and they train everybody. And it is an amazing opportunity to meet people that you have maybe met through Facebook. There is this energy and this buzz that kind of goes about. You've got like-minded people that are there with you, and you're learning together, and you're able to brainstorm with each other, and just that camaraderie, you just really cannot beat it. And then they also brought in Little Big Town, which is a country band, then did a private concert for us, which was a ton of fun. So there's just all these opportunities to meet new people, have fun and entertainment, learn all kinds of stuff, and then they also roll out some new products. And not to mention the relationships that we have built. I watched these two, and when I was putting together the little collage of pictures, it really just made me smile, seeing how much fun that we had together, and all those little moments. I don't know about you, but it's like, oh my gosh, this is what makes it all wonderful. Yeah. So tons of fun. And so Leaders Retreat is coming up in October. It is always in October, and at Leaders Retreat, they will announce the next location for the 2017 convention. Convention is always in June. It is the last 2 years. The dates have changed a little bit, but it's the first 2 weeks of June sometime. And I will tell you, when they very first roll it out, it's a reduced fee for signing up if you do early bird. And I would definitely recommend that you do that. If you need to start saving money to do it, that's great. Do that. It's usually the last 2 years, it's been $79 for the early bird, and then it goes up to $100 after that. But it was close to selling out even when it rolled over to the $100. And then they always do a contest that you can earn that registration fee back. And the last 2 years that I have gone, I have earned enough points to earn that registration fee back. And then also a winner's dinner the year before, and this close to winner's dinner this year. So definitely there's opportunity to earn that back. You just don't want to miss it, because what it will do for your business far outweighs the cost of the registration fee for sure. And I'm certain that this year will sell out as well. May even be quicker, because I can't even imagine where they're going to have it if it's not going to be back at the MGM Grand Hotel again, just because that was the biggest location for all of us. Yeah. So definitely want to kind of keep that in mind as we're going through. And just to give you guys just a little bit of an idea of the people who are speaking, these they had like some of the most amazing people, so that I was so very excited and wanted them to share. Sara Marble, if you guys have not seen her or know who she is amazing. She is a retired nurse. She started out in Plexus when there was one product, and it was the breast check kit. That was our very first product, and she tried to make a business off of it and quit. She's like, I cannot do this. When they added Slim back in, somebody contacted her again and said, come on back, you've got to do this. I love her story. Her husband was the world's biggest skeptic, like causing marital issues kind of skeptic, like calling her dumb and silly kind of things. He now is no longer a skeptic and is he an emerald himself? He's definitely semi-retired from his job. He is anesthesiologist. I'm like, I'm going to say this wrong, nurse. Sara Marble was featured in the book, The 4-Year Career, which is written by Richard Bliss Brooke, which is pretty amazing. He features network marketing professionals who make their career in 4 years. And Sara, the second time around, she did that. She was silver for a very long time. She tells very funny stories about it, how she went silver and she actually signed up her husband, that biggest skeptic, and he didn't realize that she had signed him up. Took her a long time, and so she gives us all hope for going at the pace that is right for you, and you will make it. She's absolutely phenomenal and love her. She was also featured on one of Richard Bliss Brooke's Hero Series calls, which are ones that I am addicted to, and I listen back to back to back. He interviews all of these network marketing professionals. Sara is one of them, and that's actually how I got turned on to his calls. He interviews professionals from every network marketing company who do it right. I really love those things. Sheila Medina, she is one of the original ambassadors. She is the first diamond. Yep. She is the one who is featured on our opportunity video that is now the corporate video. They used to do meetings out of the trunk of their car. They tell these funny stories about that. Yeah. She's also the host for the opportunity calls that happen every week. So she will give the product overview of all of those, and then she interviews the people. There's always 2 health testimonies and 1 financial testimony on those calls every week. And it's her husband, who I quote often, as saying, if Plexus Slim tasted like gasoline, I wouldn't care. I would still drink it because it is that amazing. And oftentimes when you have people who complain about the taste of being too sweet or something like that, there's definitely things you can do. But I always pull that out because the health benefits far outweigh that. Rebekah Fowlkes, she used to be Rebecca Davis. She started out Plexus to earn just a couple of $100. She was a stay-at-home mom and had been a stay-at-home mom for, I think, 9 years of 3 children. And then she found herself a single mom of those same 3 children. And she is very, very, very thankful for Plexus because it allowed her to not have to ask for help from family members or anybody else when that happened. And then I love this story because she actually just recently got married, and she met her husband through Plexus. He is one of her ambassadors, I think like level 3 or level 4, but that's how she met him. And she just got married this last summer. So that's super fun. And then Brenda Martin, she is a health fanatic, and she is well known for being a homeschool mother of 11 children. Amazing to me. I don't know how they do that. Her and her husband is actually a diamond too, so they're a double diamond household. They run 2 other businesses out of their home, 11 children, as we said. And she too was met with some crazy health issues, could not get herself off the sofa, had no motivation to do anything. And she prayed for something big, and Plexus came along, and it helped her with her health. Her health testimony is amazing, and then her financial testimony is amazing. And as I was listening to her Diamond documentary, every single one of her kids said they now have money for groceries. They didn't have that before. And that is obviously such a blessing. I can't even imagine groceries for 11, but this is life-changing money for people. And it's, a couple of $100s can put groceries on the table for people. So, and then one last person that was doing the emceeing for this breakout session is Haley DeJacque. She also was praying for something big. She's a military wife. She was praying for something big that she could contribute to their family financially. And she spoke at last year's convention. Both Heather and I were talking about this, and we remember her. She stood up there with tears streaming down her eyes, down her face. And she showed and shared how she bought her husband his dream car. She bought him a Corvette. And she said it was the biggest gift and blessing that she's ever been able to do, because he's worked so hard, and all she wanted was, again, just a little bit of something. And what she has gotten with Plexus has completely changed their life. And her husband told her that when, within her first month, he's like, wow, this is huge. So that's just a little bit of an overview of the caliber of people that they have talking, the stories you get, the perspective you get, everything. Like, they jam pack it into the breakout sessions. And so I've asked these ladies to share some of their top takeaways from the convention. And so I'm going to start with Brenda. And I think you said that you have 4 different things that were amazing to you. So I'm going to have you share that with everybody.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I went back through my notes, which some of them are kind of hard to read because you're sitting in this huge auditorium with our little notebooks and it's dark, and I was scribbling away, but there was quite a bit in there, and it's kind of funny how many pages of that little notebook that they gave us I actually used up. But my first one is from Sara Marble. She said, as far as product knowledge goes, that you don't have to know everything. She said, just get comfortable enough to be able to share, but don't worry about feeling like you need to know all the ins and outs about all of our products. And she suggested, which I think a lot of us do, our little product cards that we get in our success kit, these guys. She carry them with you everywhere you go, because she was saying, she even, as a diamond ambassador, this I thought was fabulous. She will bring these out on the plane. She said she picks her seats strategically, and she just reads these cards to people. And for one, it takes the stress off of yourself trying to learn all the product knowledge. But then she also said that if you're presenting the business opportunity to someone and they're like, oh, hey, she's a diamond and she's still reading these cards, I can do that. It just kind of takes away some of that scariness and the fright of thinking, oh my gosh, I have to know all of this stuff. So that was amazing. My next one is from Sheila Medina, who she had a lot of little tidbits on. She made everything sound so easy, didn't she, Heather? I mean, like, as far as, oh yeah, just say this and this is what's going to happen. And it was kind of amazing. But she said, never, ever take a no personally, because the first thing that she was really focusing on was that it's not about us. It's about other people, and, to learn to listen and things like that. But she said, if you know the 10 things that make Plexus different, which again, I'm going to refer back to our success guide in your Let's Get You Started in the Getting Started book. First chapter, pages 3 through 5, there are 10 little highlighted, bulleted kind of items. She says, if you know those, you can overcome objections, whether it be to network marketing or compensation plan or whatever. So I thought that was pretty handy too. And then Rebekah Fowlkes, who she taught us about social media. So Facebook, Twitter, all those things, but was really focused on posting on Facebook and things like that, which is where I have struggled a lot because I'm new to Facebook. I signed up just as I became an ambassador and still have a hard time posting daily, even just about myself and things like that. So it's something that I struggle with, and it's real. And then I'm like, well, how much should I be posting about Plexus? Because I see some people, it's every day, it's constantly, and I get to the point where I'm like, whoa, that's too much, even for me as an ambassador. But so she kind of gave us some guidelines of 30%, which really is 1 in every 3 posts only should be about Plexus. And then she broke it down even further, and this has helped me a lot. She gave us the 10-4-1 breakouts. So 10 of your posts, so basically that's 15 posts, which if you're posting, 3-4 times a day, it's anywhere between 4 and 5 days worth of posts on Facebook. 10 of those should be absolutely not related to Plexus at all. So just what you're doing, how your day's going, I stubbed my toe, whatever it is that you're posting about on Facebook. 4 of your posts should be indirectly related to Plexus. So I'm hanging out by the pool, thanks Plexus Freedom, or we went out to dinner and great to have some extra money, and maybe in your hashtags it's thanks Plexus or whatever. And then 1 of your posts, just 1 out of all those 15, should be directly related to Plexus, where you put something in your main body of your post that's about Plexus, but not too salesy. She breaks that down too, how to keep it from being really salesy. And then my last one is from Brenda Martin. I had one from each of everybody. And she stressed that people don't buy what you do, but why you do it. So to really be confident in your why, write it down, put it somewhere where you can see it daily, focus on it in challenging times. She says she has continually done that, just when she's really struggling, prays about her why, and like Heather said, your whys are going to change and it'll shift through your whole thing. But she also said, and I thought this was awesome, anything is possible if your why is big enough. So those were my takeaways from everybody. And then, Kim, do you want us to go through all of our stuff, like our ahas, or just
no?
Okay.
We'll go to Heather, but I wanted to ask, I love those.
Yeah.
What were the pages again from Sheila Medina? It was chapter 1.
Chapter 1, pages 3 through 5.
Pages 3 through 5.
Mm-hmm.
That is excellent information to know.
Yeah.
I like the
She had all kinds.
Post.
They all did.
I'm sure they probably went on and on and on with lots of
Yes. Yes.
I love the why, the focus on the why too. Like we're constantly talking about that, and the why we cry. And I think it is oftentimes it's more for us than it is for anybody else to keep that motivation, and it does change. That's great. Great.
One other thing she said about the why, I'll just throw this in there real quickly, is to use strong present tense words. Even though it might still just be things that are out there, you want to make it how you speak to yourself, how you think about things, basically what you think about, you bring about. So if you speak in a present tense, I am doing fabulous with my Plexus business. It makes it a lot more tangible, a lot more just kind of in sync with your brain and doable.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Excellent. Heather, we will go to you. I know you had some wonderful takeaways as well, so we'll let you share.
Yeah. Okay, so the first thing that really struck a chord was talking about is all that you're doing on Facebook is posting, and you're not taking any to follow up with people. You're basically just providing third-party validation for Plexus. And so that really struck a chord for me because I feel like I'm pretty good about posting consistent. Last year, 2 people that I have been talking to that they ended up joining other investors. I've been so but basically I'm out here posting the Plexus is great, but I'm not reaching out to a lot of people to follow up and to check in with them and see what's going on. So then here comes someone else along that did what they should have done to follow up, and those people jumped on board. So I realized what a disservice I'm doing to myself and how I'm helping all these other ambassadors, which is great because we're one Plexus. But I mean, if I do want to grow my team, then I really need to spend the time to follow up and not just throw things out there to Facebook and provide that third party validation for everyone else.
I love perspective.
Yeah. The second thing I got when we were talking about social media, it was, what is your brand? And so we were talking a lot about what you're posting on Facebook. And I know that one of the worst things that we can do is compare ourselves to others. And I always seem to find myself in a spot where I'm looking and I'm comparing and I'm seeing other ambassadors who are doing well. And I'm thinking, oh, I should be more like fill in the blank. Right. You see someone like Chris and Susie McCall, who are really funny and like they're always doing crazy things. And I think, oh, I should be like them. I should do something like that. But that is just, it's who I am. And it's, so it was really talking about what are you posting out there on Facebook? Like, don't try to be Celeste Quinn. You're not Celeste Quinn. Don't try to be Jen Hawkins. Like, and the speaker was talking about how she's funny and she's pretty authentic, but she's not really an inspiring person. So for a while she started posting like inspirational quotes, and her friends were like, what are you doing? Like, this is not who you are. This isn't what you know. And so it's really made me think about like, what am I, what is my brand, and what who should I be, and stop the other people. So and the last thing that I took away, and I know we've heard this probably a million times, but it really, really resonated with me at convention, was to really have that belief in myself and belief in the product. I think for me, when I started, I really wanted to lose weight. I still haven't lost any weight. I've lost inches, and I feel a ton better. And I have people telling me like my skin looks better, my nails and my hair are growing, and different things like that. But a lot of people in my circle of friends that it seems like everybody's really concerned with the scale. And I've tried to educate people, and I've tried to communicate that it's really not all about the scale. But I seem to have a lot of people in my sphere of influence still who they're still married to their scale, and they're saying, I don't think Plexus works, Heather, because you're not losing weight. And if Plexus worked, you'd be, 2 or 3 advancements up the line. And so I think for me, like, I have to quit listening to the negativity that other people are telling me about why they don't think I'm being successful in Plexus. I know that I feel a ton better. I know that I've had a paycheck every month for 2 years. And I'm not an emerald, and I'm not necessarily where I want to be, but I am moving forward. And so I've got to have a firm foundation, and I've got to believe in myself, and then the products and what it's done for me, instead of listening to all these other people tell me that it's not successful because of what they think success looks like for them. So that was really, that one was really a big one for me.
That is That is huge, and you're absolutely right. I think that's the other thing too about going to convention is that you get to be pumped up and encouraged by other people who are going through the same journey. And the journey can be hard. We talk negative to ourselves, and then you have any of those naysayers in there, and they have no idea what your journey is. And, you're right. That is probably one of the hardest things to do. And recognizing it is an amazing first step. So, gosh, I love that. I think that's wonderful advice that just about anybody can take. It doesn't get easier, so you just have to be able to kind of separate that and move on. Gosh, thank you. Okay, so then I will go back to Brenda. What was of all of the things that you've heard, what was of one of those things, I was going to ask you guys this, of one of those things that you took away, how are you going to implement one of those, and have you implemented it yet? And if not, what are you going to do?
So my big thing again is probably circling back to Facebook and posting more regularly and just getting things out there about myself, about my journey, about what I'm doing with Plexus and things like that. So I haven't been super successful at it yet. And I think a lot of it is just time management, which is something that I've always struggled with, but I am trying to get better. I've been, instead of constantly thinking about, oh, I should post about this, or how am I going to say that, I've been saving a lot of people's posts that I see that are out there that I like. And then it's just a matter of, unfortunately for me, having the right tools with me when I am out doing other things to be able to post things like my iPad versus just my phone, so I can do things properly, like not just sharing somebody else's post. And yeah, that's my big thing, and that's what I'm aspiring to do. I need to learn more about buffer and things like that, and figure out how to set things up as I go along. Yeah,
I think those are great. And there's two things that I have read recently about, I'm like, where are you going?
Sorry, I had to plug in. my battery was very low. I'm like, ah! What happened to me last time? I ended up sitting on the office floor listening on Kim's computer, but then nobody could see me. Probably wouldn't be real great since I'm talking in this one. Sorry.
One of the things that I was talking to one of our ambassadors about just recently, and it really resonated with her, is the saying that we always say, which is, you can work this big business part-time, you just can't work it sometimes. And that is one of the hardest things, is once you kind of get into that rhythm, is to continue posting, because people are watching. As Heather has seen, being that third-party validation, they're watching you post. And that's, it's not necessarily income producing activity to post on Facebook, but people are watching, and it's going to kind of trigger them going, oh my gosh, that is that. I've seen Brenda post about that. And then if you don't post for a while, it's like, well, she must not be doing it anymore. And so then they'll find somebody who is being consistent. Right. So that's one advice. And then another thing, what you talked about with time management, one of the things that I have been reading recently is managing the to-do list. And one thing that resonated with me when I was reading that book is that in interviewing of all of these successful people, the top of corporations and organizations, and some of the most amazing, successful people in the country, when they are asked what makes them successful, not one person talks about managing their to-do list. They say, if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't get done. And so that's been one of the things that I have been focusing on, is trying to find a way to manage my calendar. And if it's 15 minutes a day, which this business can be done in 15-minute increments and chunks. And if you don't spend your time getting kind of circled into Wastebook, which I often find myself doing, if you do 15-minute chunks, you write down what you're going to do, who you're going to contact, you've got 15 minutes and you do it, it becomes much more easy. And then you get into a habit of doing that. So I love that. And we'll work on some accountability there with you for helping you with that, because that is a good one. That's a good one. And Heather, how about you? What is one of the big takeaways you're going to implement?
Well, I think that for me, out of my 3 takeaways, I think they really come down to managing a to-do list, but also for me was a lot of that soul searching to kind of find my own beliefs and then find my own brand. And then a bunch of times since I came back from convention, trying to kind of figure out some of those things for myself. But then, yeah, above that, really trying to figure out my to-do list so I could start following up with people and really working the income producing activity.
Those are awesome too. It's it's kind of that trial and error and finding a system that works for you. And then once that happens and falls into place, it becomes kind of magical, if you will. It's just a tool that then works for you, which is awesome.
Yeah.
All right. And then Brenda, what was your biggest aha moment of convention?
My biggest aha moment was one that Heather has touched on already, where Rebekah Fowlkes was saying, if you are not actively reaching out to people, all you are doing is being third-party validation for somebody else. So, like Heather was saying, you can post about things and say it constantly, but if you don't directly reach out to somebody, whether it be personal message, a text, a phone call, an email, whatever, they're eventually going to come across somebody else who says, hey, I'm doing this plexus business. And, oh yeah, I've seen Brenda posting about that. I've seen Heather posting about it. What is it? Oh, okay, sounds great. Let's sign up with you, so was one thing where I just went, oh, okay. It kind of hit me like a board in the back of the head when she said that. I wasn't alone either in the whole auditorium with all of us silvers, but
no, I think I remember both of you talking about that afterwards. I thought to myself, oh, that is great advice.
A lot of people, it was kind of this around us, so it was, it stuck.
Yeah. And Heather, how about you? You might have already touched on it. I think you've some soul searching for sure.
Yeah, I think for me, the aha moment was just really realizing that belief. I think a lot of people throughout the theme of convention talked about just having yourself and having that belief in the products. And I think there was one moment that really just, I don't know, kind of got to me. It was when Tarl got up and he and Alec were kind of doing this back and forth thing. And he gave a shout out to a young lady. Her name is Melissa Cuevas Collins.
Yeah.
And he said I would just want to give her a congratulations because she has been at Senior Ruby for 4 years and she just reached Emerald. And I thought, there's 12,000 people here. And I mean, he gave her a shout out and she has stuck at Silver for about 16 months. And, I get people and then some drop off and it's kind of this, you just get frustrated after a while. You kind of feel like you're running in slow motion. And I just thought like, how awesome it is to be a part of a company. They could have talked about a lot of things, but for Tarl to get up and give her a shout out and just to celebrate with her and the consistency, and she hasn't given up. And I think that was really inspirational because sometimes I feel like a lot of these boards that we're on, there's a lot of shout outs to all these people who went Fast Start Gold or, reached Emerald in 6 months, and that is so fun for them, but I'm not there. And so sometimes it gets a little bit discouraging when you're working and you're working and you're working and you see all these people that are soaring to the top in no time flat. And so it's just good. It's good to hear some of those other stories of people who have been consistent and who have struggled and who have not given up and have made it.
I love that. That is so wonderful. And you're right. It is the small things and it is the journey. And the only sure way to fail is to quit. And it is so hard to not compare. That is our natural tendency, is to do that, and to celebrate the milestones of staying in there and sticking with it and being consistent and not losing faith. All of those things they're remarkable. And you're right, they should be celebrated. And we do work with an amazing company to be able to do that. I love it. I love it. Okay, the last question. Overall, what did you think about convention? What would you tell somebody who hasn't been before? And, just kind of give it a summary of what your thoughts are, and will you go again and why? And we'll start with Brenda again.
I thought it was amazing. I'd never been, obviously, and just being a silver ambassador, newly got my feet wet in the Plexus pool. It was fabulous to be surrounded by all the people that, like Kim mentioned, like-minded people, and just getting to know people, whether you're out at the pool and meet those people we met from Canada or whoever, just hearing about how everybody's little journeys are similar yet oh so different. And that there were so many of us too. That was kind of fun, just walking through all the casinos or through MGM, I guess, and people are like, oh, there's more of those Plexus people, because we all had our little badges on and stuff. But yeah, it was great. Plus I got a new PFF, Heather, which was awesome. So I had my little partner in crime there while we were going along and doing our things and our breakout sessions, and didn't have to feel like a little sister because I couldn't go in with my big sister to the goals meeting. And yeah, it was great. And I will definitely go again. I think if you haven't been, you need to go at least once. And it definitely spoke to me in a lot of ways. I learned a ton, and there's just a lot of invaluable things. And like Heather said, you get to hear about people. I mean, like Sara Marble, she was silver for 7 months. And that's, you don't hear about people like that who, Celeste Gwynn was a diamond in 7 months, or, probably less than that if I knew her story correctly. But yeah, it's just, it was great to know that they're all people too. And if they can do it, we can do it.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And Heather, how about you? I know it was your second convention.
Yep, it was. So yeah, I thought I had figured it all out last year. It was totally different this year. It was a lot more fun. Probably because I had a little more, I knew what to expect, but I would recommend convention for sure. I think that there's something about kind of being in that bubble where you have all these other Plexus people, where you can meet new people. I have been in network marketing before, and I have to say, last year they kicked off the One Plexus, and I love that people have really embraced it. It's still very much a part of who Plexus is. So to go and to meet new people and to be a part of other people's teams, and it's amazing. I don't know if any of you have been to Super Saturday, but you come away really excited and pumped up. It's like even a bigger Super Saturday kind of experience to go to convention and to have a couple days of meeting new people, of hearing other stories, and of getting so much training all in one place. I mean, I'm with Brenda. Like, my notebook is full of so much good information, and I was looking through it again today, and I was like, man, I could just probably go through this for the next month and just keep taking more and more takeaways. It's just good information, and that you really could use all year long to keep growing your business and growing yourself as a leader. I would definitely go back, and I'll encourage my teams as well to try everything they can to get there, because I've heard a lot of people say leaders are born at convention, and I believe that there's so much good information.
Yeah, I love it. This was my second convention as well, and I really, really enjoyed this one. And I think maybe there is a little bit of that. I knew what to expect. There's more people that I had met from last year in person who I was looking forward to seeing again this year. You're friends with them on Facebook, and it becomes a real relationship. And it brings tears to my eyes thinking about it. The people that I have never met, and I got to meet them, and there's hugs, and pure joy in being able to see each other and spend some time together. Never feels like there's enough time. And it's true, leaders are born at events. And so even if it's just going to meetings that are local, that does something, again, to kind of rebuild your faith and refuel you up, and does a great thing. I was looking for some statistics that I know I have read in Eric Worre's book, which is Go Pro. He talks about the actual dollar amount of how you can grow and what your annual salary will increase for every team member you have that attends convention. And I think it is something like $10,000 a year per person, that if you have them at convention, you can anticipate that being your average annual income. And that's not just once, but that's, compounded every single year. So leaders are definitely born at events. Convention is huge. You cannot beat the training. You cannot beat the camaraderie. You cannot beat the relationships. It is absolutely amazing. And there's, no way to put it into words. And I will tell everybody here and anybody who is watching this video, Trisha and I, Trisha's on vacation right now, so she is with us in spirit, but wasn't able to attend tonight's call. We are already talking about spending an extra day in wherever the convention location is the day after convention ends. And some of us did that this year, and we didn't plan it ahead of time. It was a kind of an add-on, and we spent the afternoon at the pool in a cabana. And it was just so fun to be able to be with each other and brainstorm with one another. And so we're thinking we're going to grow that next year and do it on purpose, and have people, spend some time where we as a team and our adopted team members and everybody that we've got who's a part of us, and sidelines, and, following that kind of one plexus thinking, is that we can spend some time together downloading and brainstorming and coming up with ways that we can implement what we've just heard, especially since we're not all in the same physical location. It is a wonderful opportunity for us to do that. So we'll have some more information about that once we find out the location and the dates for sure. And we'll let, of course, everybody know that so that we can plan on that in our travels. So I love that you guys got so much out of it, and I thank you for sharing. I know that this was a first maybe for both of you. I know it is for Brenda for sure, of participating so heavily and sharing your why and a little bit of your testimony on a Zoom meeting. So thank you so much for stepping outside of your comfort zones. That is growth in and of itself, and I applaud you guys. That is so wonderful. Thank you. So many great tidbits. I know that if you guys, if anybody on this call has questions for either of these two, I'll speak for them and let they would be happy to share their information. If we can come up with a great way to share even more of those tidbits, we will. But there is no substitute for getting to convention on your own and hearing it firsthand. You just cannot beat it. So with that, we will say good night to everybody. And Heather, it's your bedtime, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And if you guys do, Carrie or Angelique, do you have questions or anything that you want to say? Nope. We'll say good night, and we will see you all soon. Thank you for joining us, and I will post this link in our team page. Good night, everybody.
Night.
Thanks.